Hi, Scott Weaver from Factory Direct Designers Workroom. If you've watched my other segments on open neck swags, we've taught you how to cut the jabos. We've taught you how to sew them, how to press them. We also worked on the swags. These are the open neck swags, and where we cut these on the bias just to give it a little different look. I've got two of these. And eventually we're going to sew these two down with the jabos. But in this tutorial, we're going to be working on pleating the jabos. So I want to give you the heads up on how to pleat them. Now, the jabos have to meet somewhat the width of this swag right here. And that's what's called the overlap. So we're going to put a jabo on this one, and then on the other end of the other swag, but pretty much so you want to cover this area with it. You don't have to cover the whole area. If you don't want to, you can make it whatever part of the area. And in this case, we're coming very close to covering the entire portion of it, meaning this is going to be pleated up, as you'll see, and go underneath this swag. So to pleat this jabo, first thing you have to do is measure it. And in this case, it's 36 inches, which we knew, and I determined that before because it's going to be 12 inches wide. So if you want a jabo to be 12 inches wide, you're going to times that by 3. 12, 24, 36 inches. Then you add your sewing allowance, which I did, which is 37, and that's why now it's coming out exactly 36. Then you have to determine how many pleats you want in it. For my jabos, I want 4 pleats in it. So then you take your 36 inches, you divide it by 4, and you come out with 9 inches. So what you're going to begin to do is, with pins, is you are going to put a pin every 9 inches. That's 9, 18, and 27. Now, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and make our first pleat. What we're going to do is we're not going to grab where that pin is. We're going to grab over closer to the edge here, and then we're going to determine how far we have to go. What we want the pin to do, let me get it there, then I'll show it to you. Okay, let me bring it over here so you can get a better look of it. Okay. Okay, now let me pull this back a little bit. I'm going to undo it. A little easier now. There's the pin. In relationship with the pin, you want to tuck in the fabric. So there's 2 points we're looking at. We're looking for this fold to go to the edge, but we're also looking for this pin to go right where this crease is. Right there. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to open it up. And how you determine that's not always easy. Let me back this up a little bit. But anyway, you're going to grab anywhere around here about 1/3 of the fabric. And you're going to bring it up. Now watch where this pin goes. There's the pin right there. And the pin is going to go right where this fold is. You see where that fold is right there? we're bringing it right to that point of where that fold is. Right there. Now if you didn't catch that, we're going to do it again on the next pleat. You want to keep everything lined up on the top, which sometimes you're fighting material. At that point you can remove that pin, and you want to place 2 pins on right at the top here. Okay, now we're going to do the next one. There's where the pin is right here. Then we want about 1/3 of that, roughly. We're going to grab it. Now what we're going to line it up to now, I'll show you in just a second once I get it there. Okay, now you got 2 points. There's where the pin is. There is where my crease is. And you'll see, once I get it pinned in here, this is a very hard video to show exactly what I'm doing here. That's why I offer these on eBay also. I offer the Jabots, because the Jabots that I offer, the patterns for them, they come all pleated up. They have notches on the top so you know exactly where everything lines up. But I'll give you another look in just a second. Okay, so that's the second one. And what happens is, these two follow exactly each other. There is the bend, and it butts up to this one right here. I know it's very difficult. I wish I could expand it somehow. But anyway, we're going to keep going on, and hopefully you're going to get it. So again, I'm going to grab about, I don't know, 2 inches, 2.5 inches away from this pin. And I'm bringing it over, and I'm meeting this right here. So again, let's stick a pin in here. So there's that pin, and there's where the back of the pleat is right there. And then these line up right here. Then you'll notice what happens with the last one, which you notice there's nothing there. You're going to grab it and fold it back. Like that. And that's what's going to create it. Let me stick another pin in here. Then I'm going to go ahead, luckily this is a stripe, and I'm going to line up my stripes here. At this point you could measure the width, but I know it's going to come out 12 inches, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, so that's what that jabo is going to look like. Just like that. Now, the next step with this jabo, I'm going to pleat the other one up, of course, is to press. Press these pleats in. Take it right over to the pressing board, press the front of it, flip it around to the back side, which is that, and press the back of it. And the reason why I want you to do that is because when you hang it, you don't want the pleats to just bellow out. You want them to stay organized and neat. And if you don't press it, and I've watched so many videos and they forget that part, and then they go hang it, and it doesn't look very good, to be honest with you. If it's not pressed, those pleats aren't pressed, it doesn't look good. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this one to make your right. We're going to go 9 inches. $18. And 27 inches. I'm always starting with the long end here. And of course we're grabbing about 1/3 of it. Now our pleats are going the opposite direction. And I'm bringing it over. Back it up a little bit. So that fold right there, that fold is even with this pin. That's where you want to be. And this fold is even with the side of the jabo. Okay, so there's the fold right there. There's with the relationship of where the pin is. That goes there. And this bend right here goes even with the edge of the jabo. Once you have it there, you can go ahead and pin it. Pleat number 1 is done. Pleat number 2. There's my pin. I'm coming over to approximately 1/3 of that, which would be about here, roughly, give or take. Grabbing it and bringing it over. I'm not quite there yet because there's my pin. There's where the fold is. So I want to tuck more fabric underneath until this fold right here meets this fold that's into the back. So they're even together. You don't want to come over like this because now you're just creating a lot of bulk. You want to put it next to the very first fold that you have. At the same time, making sure that this pin is in relationship to that bend underneath. Very hard for me to really show you this without you standing right there. Stick another couple pins in. We'll move on to the next one. Let me see if I can move this back just a little bit more. Okay. Here is my pin, is right here. Grabbing about here on it, which is about 1/3 of the way. Bringing it over. And I'm real close. Okay, this bend equals the bend that's in the back here. And this pin meets that fold. Pin to that fold. See if you can see it again. There's my pin. That's where the back of that fold is. Right there. Once you've got it there, you notice I never sewed across the top of my jabo, and I try not to do that. Unless you've got a real flimsy fabric, you don't do it until now. Once you get all these folds down, you press them. Press the folds in, Then you're going to go just a 1/4 inch and sew all these pleats down so you can remove the pins so the pins don't get you. Because boy, pins will get you all if you're not watching it and stick your fingers into them. But that's the reason why I never sewed this down, is because I only want to do it one time. Okay, my last one. There's the end of it. And again, I'm going to grab from here out about 1/3 from where this location is. And I'm going to bring it in. Now, that's not enough because I have all this left over. And this one has to go almost to the edge, or should go to the edge. Still not enough. Okay, that's pretty good. So what happened right here is this, and there's the edge of that's the fold, and you want that one to come. You want this. You don't want to see that fold right there. You want this to cover it just a little bit, but at the same time, you want this even with this right here. So you want to keep everything even. Let me try that again. There it is, like this. Grabbing it about here. I'm bending it, and I want this and the edge here to line up fairly close. Then we're going to stick some pins in it. I apologize. Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly another way I can do it to show you. So I do apologize if you didn't quite get that. Now I'm just going to line up each one of these. I want to make sure my stripes are following through here. So you see the same stripe from the top all the way down, so you're lining everything up. Okay, so there's that one. And then what I do on the bottom, I stick pins at my bottom to keep everything in place. Once I have my stripes all lined up, because then you bring it over to your pressing board, your ironing board, whatever you have, you're going to press in these folds. So here's your 2 jabos, a left and a right. One of my next videos, we're going to put these on here. It's going to be like this. And we're going to put our next one on here like that. Just over so you can see a little better. Then we're going to finish it with this. Okay, so that's basically what we're going to be looking at when we're done. So stay tuned for our next segment, which will be sewing them together and adding Velcro to the underneath part of it, like I've showed in a demo one other time in my videos. And the other aspect that I haven't taught yet is how many swags you need for your pole and how to figure out what the overlap is, all that good stuff. So please stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Scott Weaver from Factory Direct Designers Workroom.